Welcome to Headline to Heartline, the podcast where stories from the headlines turn into heartfelt journeys. Today, we're talking about one of England's most loved writers, Jane Austen. She was born back in 1775, and she gave us classics like Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, and Emma. These books weren't just about love stories. They showed the struggles and the strengths of women in a society built on class, money, and expectations. More than 200 years later, her words still feel fresh, and her legacy has only grown. This year, 2025, marks the 250th anniversary of Jane Austen's birth. Across the UK, fans are celebrating with Regency balls, costumed walks, film screenings, fairs, even guided tours. And honestly, I've seen how passionate Austen fans can be. It feels like stepping straight back into her world. For me, the first Austen novel I ever read was Pride and Prejudice. I remember being surprised. I thought it would just be an old-fashioned romance, but it was so sharp, so funny, and at times heartbreaking. The way Elizabeth Bennet pushes back against the rules of her world really stayed with me. It made me feel like Austen wasn't writing for her own time only. She was writing for all of us. One of those celebrating Austen is just 18 years old, a student from Devon in the southwest of England. Her name's Jessica Ella Gilbert, and for her final college project, she created something pretty unique, a photographic biography that brings together Jane Austen's novels and their film adaptations. Her inspiration came from childhood. Jessica Ella grew up visiting Saltram House, a beautiful old National Trust property near Plymouth. For her, it was always a special family trip, and later she discovered that this house had real Austen connections. Saltram House was used in the 1996 film adaptation of Sense and Sensibility, and up in North Devon, Hartland Abbey was one of the main locations for the BBC's 2008 version. For Jessica Ella, seeing those places on screen, the same places she'd walked through as a kid, made Austen's world feel alive. Personally, I know the feeling. I once visited a spot I'd only ever seen in a film, and suddenly it all clicked. The story felt real. Jessica Ella says Austen was a genius, way ahead of her time. On the surface, her novels can look like romance or comedy, but underneath, they deal with class divisions, with displacement, even with the shadow of slavery. That's why people keep coming back to them. Each generation finds new meanings, new identities in her work. And here's something fun. Jessica Ella actually got the idea for her project while watching the 2023 Barbie movie. There's that famous scene where Barbie sits down to watch the BBC's 1995 Pride and Prejudice, the one with Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy. Personally, I watched that version too, and I've got to say, it sticks with you. That moment reminded her how much Austen still shapes our culture today, and it sparked her tribute. Jane Austen once wrote, "A single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife." These days, we might flip it around and say, "A single author in possession of great genius must be in want of a legacy." And Jane Austen's legacy is still shining, maybe brighter than ever. Thank you for listening to Headline to Heartline. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'd love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to hit like. It really helps us keep turning stories from the headlines into the Heartline.